there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. We have got a super quick and easy technique that I had heaps of fun with playing with the other day, and I thought I would share it with you guys. So I'm starting off with some foiled cardstock. Now you don't have to have this paper pad at all. Any foiled cardstock is good and any colour is good, whatever you have on hand. And at the moment this is a 6x6 piece, but I'm going to cut it down to be 4 by 5 1/4 inches, and that way it will sit nicely with a little bordering edge on my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card base. And then what I need for this project is embossing folders. So again, any embossing folder, whatever you have, make sure that you use an anti-static powder bag or some cornstarch or something that takes away the static from your mirror cardstock. Now, don't get me wrong, it looks a bit of a mess here, but it will all wipe off. Then I'm going to use some VersaMark, which is a sticky embossing ink. And again, you can use either side of your embossing folder here. It doesn't matter which one you go for. And then you're going to just lightly tap the VersaMark ink over one side only of your embossing folder. Now, as I said, either side will create a different image, so go ahead and have a play and do both sides if you want to. Obviously not at the same time, you'll need to do it separately. Then you want to face the colour side of the foil down onto that embossing ink and try not to smear it. So once you choose where you want it to go, just put it straight down, close the folder, run it through like you normally would, and then take it out, but be very careful not to touch too much. I am using some Ranger Gold embossing powder for this one, but again, whatever embossing powders that you have on hand versus whatever colour mirror cardstock you've used, you just want them to be different colours. You can go for a tone-on-tone one, that works as well, but obviously it doesn't stand out quite as much. So I gave it a really good coating with the embossing powder, and then I have just let it fall down onto my scrap piece of paper there, and that's how I funnel it back into my little container there. It kind of catches most of it, and it's a nice, easy, fast way to do it. So then I am just going to heat it like a normal piece of embossing or a normal piece that you would do on paper. I don't find that the mirror cardstock warps very easily or anything like that. It doesn't take away the shininess, so it's pretty much normal, and you can see it looks really gorgeous when it melts here. And the couple of really good things about this technique is that it works with pretty much any embossing folder that you own. It works with any coloured mirrored cardstock, and it takes really few supplies to make a kind of nice, clean, simple, stunning card. So I kept the card making really simple today because I wanted the feature to definitely be this embossed piece of cardstock. And actually just here, it's really fun to just keep looking at it shining in the light. It's really, really a pretty piece of cardstock that we've created. Anyway, turning it into a card, I'm going to slice right through the middle of it, and I am just estimating my kind of border or the angle that I want it to be on, but I mean you could measure as well, either. Then I'm going to put my card base into my MISTI, just a stamping tool to help me kind of plan everything out. So I'm using the magnets just to hold things in place where I think I want that top little embossed piece of cardstock to go. And then using 2 different stamp sets, so I am using this one from Kelly Creates, and I want the thank you from that one, which is kind of a bigger sentiment. And then using the all the small things stamp set, it's going to say you're the greatest underneath that larger one. So as I said, it's just kind of helping me plan everything out, and this way I know using the stamping platform that if I muck it up, I am able to re-stamp it and it should work out okay without ruining my whole card base because I'm stamping directly onto my card base. Again, when you are doing any embossing, it is really key to use the anti-static powder bag or something like that. There's lots of homemade versions out there too, but I will link to the one that I have down below. Then I'm going to use some of the VersaMark sticky embossing ink, exactly the same one that we used before on our embossed piece of mirror cardstock. Take out my card base, and then I'm going to use the same gold embossing powder that I used for the top, and I'm going to emboss my sentiment. Now, when I kind of have a look at this here, and I realize that I didn't stamp the top of the T properly. So I am going to just melt what I have already. It's a nice clear stamp for the rest of it, but I just missed the top of the T. So if I melt all of this, and then as I said, the one really big benefit of using a stamping tool is that I'm able to come back and fix my mistakes easily. So It looks really gorgeous and it's lovely and shiny, but I'm going to pop it right back in again, just in the same corner that I had before, ink up that T and the H a little bit, and that way I have saved myself from having to think up some creative way to cover up my mistakes, which is what we all do as card makers. Usually if we make a mistake, we try and think of some creative way that we can cover it up rather than starting all over again. So my sentiment is really gorgeous there. The gold embossing is just really shiny and beautiful. Now in card making, I often say that it is the finer details that kind of make things. So here I have cut a tiny strip of the blue cardstock. This was off the piece that we cut off earlier on from that 6x6 piece. And it was just the plain blue. It's not gold embossed or anything. And the little things that you add to your card don't have to be expensive or different or kind of outrageous. It's as simple as an extra little line of cardstock makes a difference. So you saw me a second ago, I lined it up with the piece of embossed cardstock to cut the correct angles for the side, and now I'm just using a little bit of liquid glue to pop that right in there, and you can see what a difference it makes straight away. So the possibilities for using this technique are absolutely endless. You could do this on flowers or all sorts. So go for gold, have a great time creating, and I hope this card inspired you a little bit, even though it is so clean and simple, and I really look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!